Start, a college football podcast for everyone and everyone else. I'm your host, John Buhler, lead writer for FanSided. I'm joined today by a man who looks a little bit like Post Malone, who knows how to travel alone and is still dealing with the fact that something called Michael Malone is the head coach of North Carolina Tar Heels. Cody Williams, content director, fansided.com. We're living in a world, man. How are you?
Noted father of a Carolina volleyball player. What are we doing here? I don't know, man. I'm doing okay though. I'm tired. I'm beaten down from a weekend at the Final Four, but I'm here, man. I'm glad to be back before you head out for a long while. You're gonna be seeing a hell of a lot of my face starters.
It's gonna be something. All right, yeah. I mean, the Arizona State podcast are going to Germany. So when this is out, we're going to be heading towards Detroit and then Frankfurt, however you say that in German. I don't know how that. And then
I think it's
Berlin and
just
Munich.
Frankfurt. That sounds very German.
Sure. And then, but I'll be back on here with yards and a cloud of punt in the wee hours of the night or the morning after the first round of the NFL draft. It's going to be great. It's going to be fall start. It's going to be wonderful.
100%, man. It's a hell of an episode to return for. It's gonna be a good one.
A lot of stuff's happened last couple of days. I mean, not just the Final Four that you saw Michigan win a national championship, which I'm not sure is really good for the world, but it did happen.
It did happen, and you know what? I don't think Dusty May's a cheater, so everything says they might have done it ethically.
I don't know if I like him. He looks kind of like he's related to me, so like it's fine.
You should like him. He's best friends with your team's basketball coach, him and Mike
Mike,
White.
that's great. Shout out to Marcus Miller coming back, man.
That's right. Big for the program.
Big for the program. We also saw Walt Weiss fight Jorge Soler last night.
The first thing I saw on social media was someone took the NFL Defensive Player of the Year graphic and put Walt Weiss in it.
And obviously, former writer here with FanSided, Brad Weiss, that's his cousin. So we
100%. It's
we always think about Weiss differently because of that.
100%. We're 2 degrees from the Defensive Player of the Year in Major League Baseball.
And three away from Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco.
100%, man.
But you know what? I guess we're doing better than the New England Patriots head coach and the lead reporter for the Athletic. That was whoo.
That's something. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about that, but it's something, that's for sure.
Was she there for the 2020 COVID draft in Nashville?
Who could say? Who could say where she's been? That's all I know.
And Caleb Gary just retired. That means we have the Falcons have, and this always happens after Bloggity. Check that out. So news always happens as soon as I finish that. That means we obviously fall started there and we're fall started here because we signed Juwan Taylor, who that's what he does.
Hell yeah, he's in there, baby.
When a Shake Shack's not good enough for you, let's have a slice of pumpkin pie.
You're damn right.
You made a 3 round NFL mock draft earlier in the week. I believe that came out on Sunday.
Mhm.
Let's work our way through the first round a little bit. We got to do an abbreviated episode because time flies, brother.
You got to travel across the actual pond, not the United States pond, and I've got stuff to do because I'm back in town, and that means my schedule's busy again.
So you got Fernando Mendoza, one going to the Raiders. Don't need to spend any time on that. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah, we will touch on
Um,
that later, but I personally don't need to spend any time on that.
Arvell Reese looking like he's going to go to the Jets. Love that. Mostly for him, not for the Jets, but that's okay.
Yes, 100%.
Francis Maligo, you got him 3 going to the Cardinals. Makes sense with an offensive minded head coach in Mike LaFleur. Then you got a trade. You got the Titans trading, the Chiefs trading up with the Titans for 9-4 to get Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey. God, if he goes to the Chiefs, he's the next Chris Jones, dude.
Dude, 100%. And I think that when the Chiefs traded Trent McDuffie to get an extra first round pick, I think they afforded themselves the opportunity to get aggressive with something like this.
100%. They got the Giants taking Sonny Styles out of Ohio State at 5 because they can do that.
Mhm.
I like the player. I don't think that's going to work out for them.
I mean,
Don't think John Harbaugh's a good head coach anymore.
no, that's probably very true at this point. I will say, I do think the Giants are in a position where you've got to just take a dude who you know's a dude. And you can't screw up another top 5 pick is really what it boils down to. And I'm confident in many things in this draft. One of them is that Sonny Styles is a really good football player.
And with the seventh round pick, they can take his brother, Lorenzo Styles Jr.
That's right.
And at six, we got your Dallas Cowboys trading up with the Browns to get Ribbon Bane Jr. in his tiny arms. You don't care. I know you're fired up about this one.
Dude, I need it. I need it like air. Like absolute like you're jumping ahead of the Commanders, which I like, which is the reason I targeted. There's two reasons I targeted the Browns. One, I think like once you get past Maui Goa, I think the tackle class is a little bit of a drop off. So I think you can drop back a little bit and still get the tackles that you want in this class. But if they're Cowboys, you want to jump ahead of the Commanders, who are probably targeting someone like Bane for that defense to get younger, to get more explosive. And then B, you need an edge rusher. You need someone who's going to make an impact. And like there are other guys in the first round, but not on the level of Ruben Bane Jr.
We'll touch on him probably here very shortly. You got a guy who's about the ball, going to play for a guy who's all about the ball with Caleb Downs going to the Washington Commanders, playing for Dan Quinn. That's the most Dan Quinn thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I mean Legion of Boom type stuff here.
Cardell Tate going eight to the Saints. Good for the Saints. Hey, bad for me.
Yeah, not what you specifically want to see, but I mean Tyler Shuck looked good at the end of last year, man. You got to get him. You got to give him some help because everyone there is either old or can't stay on the field.
And probably the closest thing we have to Derrick Henry coming into this draft. Jeremiah Love's going to Derrick Henry's former team in the Tennessee Titans, who you have trading and moving back to nine with Chiefs.
Yeah, and like that's another reason why I had that trade is there's been a lot of smoke with the Titans being in on Jeremiah Love. You don't have to take him with the fourth overall pick. You don't have
Yeah.
to do that.
No, the Titans need a lot of help because they're not very good, and this guy makes them better. And then at 10, you got Mansour Delane out of LSU going to the Bengals. You know what? They need more LSU guys at Cincinnati that can play. I'm all for it.
He plays defense and he's good. Therefore, he should be a Bengal.
Um, Jermod McCoy, look the photo you're using here looks like he's wearing jean shorts. He's going to the Dolphins. I don't know if he's gonna play it down there, but like, sure, why not?
Hey, if he can run a 4.38 in jorts, that's even more impressive, you know?
And I don't know if I want to see this guy in jorts, but you got my dog Monroe Freeling going to the Browns from the Cowboys. They moved back, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That was the trade 6 for 12.
I think Freeling to the Browns makes so much sense just because of the whole Todd Monken Georgia connection. They
Hmm.
they need offensive linemen. I like it
Yeah.
better. I like him better than going to the Lions, where he's going to face pressure. Except with the Panthers, this is a easy place for him to work because he's so raw, dude.
He's so raw and like he fits that Browns timeline. Because like, spoiler alert, even if you draft Monroe Freeling, even if you crush this year's draft, if you're the Browns, you're still not winning anything in
No,
2026.
no, and the Rams might be winning something with my Falcons pick at 13 with Spencer Fonto out of Utah.
Hmm.
Assuming they make this pick, why not if them picks as the Rams do?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that could be traded for AJ Brown by the time we get to the draft.
100% at 14. The biggest lock of anybody besides Fernando Mendoza going to the Raiders at one is Jordan Tyson going to the Ravens at 14.
It makes too much sense. It really does. We did it on put a dude on a team, Brad. We just kept coming back to he's a Raven, like he just is.
And they got a Key Mesidor going to Tampa Bay at 15. He's old enough to retire for playing football, but he's going to a place where retirees go in Tampa. Love this for them. Todd Bowles needs somebody who's going to make an impact. I think this works.
Yeah, and like Bowles isn't a spring chicken. Baker's not getting any younger either. Like I'm not saying Baker's an old quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but you need someone who's going to impact it now. And like, yeah, Mesidor's old, but that also means he's ready to play right now.
All right. And then we got Mekhi Lemon going at 16 to the Jets from the Sauce Gardner pick. He's going in there. Um, I don't know if this is going to work out, but sure.
I mean, he'll be there, and that's the most important thing.
All right. Then I'll speed up here with a little bit with the second half of the first round. 17 got Caden Proctor going to the Lions at 17. You got Dylan Thineman going to the Vikings because everybody that sees him out of Oregon compares him to Harrison Smith, but you did because I mean we're people. We see what we see.
I mean, Harrison Smith was good, really, really good for like 13 years in the NFL. So like, it's not like I'm trying to be like, hey, it's a white safety. Like he just happens to be very good and athletic.
Hell yeah. And then we talked about this earlier with Kenny and Sadiq. I don't know if we put him on the Panthers, but I think we ended up kind of going that direction. We like the idea. They need talent there, man, for Dan Morgan and Dave Canellis.
I think we did end up like when I was doing the mock, I tried to remember what dudes we put on which teams, and that was two that I know I had two in there, and I think this was one of them.
Get the Chargers at 20 from Dallas via Green Bay, taking a guard named Ola Oyani from Penn State. Hopefully he has a better career in the NFL than he did in college with Penn State. I don't remember him. That's okay.
I mean, Penn State and the Chargers, like, are they the same program? Who could say?
Who could say? Uh, and the Steelers break everybody's heart by taking something called Caleb Lamu at 21 instead of Ty Simpson. I'd probably take Ty Simpson at that spot if I were them, but I understand you have him coming up a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Ty Simpson as some other people in the industry.
No. And you're taking you got a guy who's going to overlap here. CJ Allen, my dog, going to your Cowboys at 22.
That'd be sick. It'd be sick. I want it so badly.
Basically everything that Sean Lee left on the bench, you're getting with CJ Allen.
100%, man. I need it.
With a little bit of Paul Posluszny. Hope he gets a Posluszny neck.
Need the cowboy collar. Let's go.
Hell yeah. TJ Parker is going to the Eagles at 23 out of Clemson.
That just feels like an Eagles pick, doesn't it?
Yes. The Browns do not go tackle at 24 from the Jags pick. They're going to take Denzel Boston, a guy you're very high on out of Washington, who you believe is what, wide receiver four for you?
Yeah, wide receiver four for me. And I mean, it's getting close. I really do like Omar Cooper Jr. He's coming up here in a second, but I think Boston makes sense for the Browns more than Omar Cooper Jr. does, just because he's more of the prototype build for like a number one, and that wide receiver room sucks. So like you need somebody.
Browns are going to be bad. And
Yeah.
I love the Bears may pull back. They may be good, but you got Peter Woods going to the Bears out of Clemson at 25. He looks like he looks like he's going to hate playing at that place or Gary, Indiana, wherever the hell they go.
Wherever they're playing, he's not going to enjoy it.
No, Keldrick Falk, you're going from Auburn to Buffalo at 26.
Good luck, man.
Omar Cooper Jr. is going to a place where wide receivers have a time with the San Francisco 49ers. Again, this will probably work out. This will be probably one of the two like first round picks that actually makes sense for John Lynch. He gets to do whatever the hell he wants, Carbonch. It's like him and Chris Ballard can do no wrong.
I mean, they can do a lot of wrong, but they don't pay the consequences for it.
No, sir. Georgia, you got another Georgia player off the board with Christian Miller going to the Texans at 28. That breaks my heart because I want him to go to the Falcons much later at 45. I don't think he will. I think he wants to go there, but the Houston Texans just they want this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going, like, I think the Texans should be targeting offensive line. I had a lot of offensive linemen already come off the board here at this point. And if that's the case, why not just make your strength stronger? Go get like you have like a little bit of a lack of depth on the interior of the defensive line. Go get someone who's not even fully developed but can be an impact player right away as well.
And if CJ Stroud didn't have hot dogs for brains, like this pick gets you to the AFC Championship and to a Super Bowl. I think Nico and not Nico, what's the hell's his name?
D'Amico.
D'Amico,
Yeah.
yeah. D'Amico can coach. I don't know if Nick can do it, but that's all right.
We'll see. We'll see. You combine the two. I knew exactly where your brain was going with that.
Brother of Falcon star, Avion Terrell is going to the Chiefs at 29. He's going to be so good, man. That's gonna work out for them somehow.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can say a lot about the Chiefs. They're really good at drafting cornerbacks, like really good at it.
And they don't pay him, which is great. So,
Yeah.
30, you got the Dolphins with the Broncos pick taking a wide receiver, Casey Concepcion. They need something. Maybe it'll work for him. He's like the new Jalen Waddle, I guess.
That's literally was my thought process was you need somebody who can do stuff, and he can do stuff.
And the Jets need a quarterback, and they usually go with guys from Alabama, whether that's Joe Namath, Richard Todd, Greg McElroy. Congratulations, Ty Simpson. You're going to the Jets.
Yeah, trading back in with New England. I know that's an AFC East trade, but if I'm the Patriots, I'm like, hell yeah, you can trade back into the first round to get Ty Simpson because I think it's a bad idea, but here we are.
And then they get the Seahawks taking Colton Hood out of Tennessee, the other cornerback of note.
Yeah, he very fit. Like he just feels like a Seahawks draft pick, and like Seahawks draft athletes and then develop them into football players, and that's kind of what he is right now.
All right, we got through the first round. Anybody in rounds 2 or 3 you want to touch on? Just like maybe two guys before we move on.
I have Garrett Nussmeier going to the Steelers in the third round, and that's one where I look at it and I think he could be really good under Mike McCarthy. Like, I think that's someone that kind of like raises, and like, regardless of what happens with Rodgers, like, my gut still tells me Rodgers is coming back to the Steelers. Like, they can say they're not doing the same song and dance. It's the same song and dance we saw last year. But Nussmeier just seems like the right type of guy for McCarthy to develop in that system. Like, I still believe in Nussmeier's talent. I think he was done no favors by Brian Kelly and LSU last year. And I think eventually, like, we'll see him get his opportunity as a starter in the NFL. Whether that's sustainable, I don't know, but I think he'll get his opportunity.
He may come in there like as next Ben Roethlisberger. He may just be the next Mason Rudolph. But either way, that works for them, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're the Steelers, you got to take that swing though. You know what I mean?
And I believe you got him as QB3 on your board with Cole Payton out of North Dakota State at 4, edging out Carson Beck. So like those
Yeah.
are like those kind of like the next group of guys to come off the board probably.
Yeah, and I mean, like honestly, those quarterbacks, like after you get past Mendoza and Simpson, it's kind of like soup du jour. Like whatever a team is feeling, and like Cole Payton's a guy who's been getting buzz. Early on, someone was trying to push him into the first round. We weren't having that, but like I do think he's a talented guy that if you're taking a late day two, early day three pick on him, I think it's worth it.
And the last one I want to touch on is you got the Chiefs taking Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt. That's your Travis Kelce replacement there.
Yeah, 100%. I'll one more I want to touch on. I have the Cowboys late in the third round taking Trey Lance's brother, wide receiver Bryce Lance, who,
That would be his brother's name.
oh yeah, Bryce Lance is a good football player, man. He's more polished than Trey Lance has ever been in his entire career. Like he played 4 years out of wide receiver at North Dakota State. I believe he ran in the 4.3s, if not the 4.4s at the combine. So like he's going to be drafted pretty high. Like that's not me just like trying to do something stupid.
No, we've all had the best year of our life. I think Trey Lance's best year of his life was 2019. We've all had one. I don't remember when mine was.
We all get one. I certainly don't remember mine, which I think is kind of the point.
I kicked a lot of ass in '09, and 14 was horrible for me.
Hey, sometimes it is, man. Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. You know what we need right now after having a slice of pumpkin pie? Let's have another slice of pumpkin pie.
Sorry, we call it the Mel Kiper lunch, another slice of pumpkin pie.
um, you want coffee with it? No, just all filler, no killer. Who was it? The ESPN staff, I believe it was Aaron Schatz, Adam Rittenberg, Ben Solak, Field Yates, bunch of
I
people
think Mina
from
Kimes
ESPN.
was in here at one point too.
Yeah, Jeff Legwold, Liz Loza, Jordan Reed, Lewis Riddick, Matt Bowen, Matt Miller, Mel Kiper Jr. They all have comps. Mike Tannenbaum,
Oh God.
Teron Davenport. They all have comps of like some of these NFL, like truly ESPN staff
Yeah.
article.
It
Uh,
like the most pure NFL staff article that's ever been written.
so any comp on here you want to start with that you think is intriguing to at least touch on?
I think Keldrick Falk to Cameron Jordan, which is the first one on here, but like it is to me the most intriguing on here because Keldrick Falk as a prospect is not my cup of tea. And one of the biggest reasons is he didn't produce in college. You're talking about someone who's supposed to be like the comp comes from the fact that Keldrick Falk is a big edge rusher in the same vein of Cameron Jordan. And if he's going to have a path to success, it's going to look a lot like what Cameron Jordan's did. But we didn't see Keldrick Falk put that together at Auburn. Like, and when we're talking about someone who's supposed to be physically imposing, who's not producing at the college level, that's worrisome to me. And so he's not my cup of tea, but thinking of him like just trying to like open, keep an open mind with this type of stuff. If you think about a Cameron Jordan type of path for him, then yeah, like I understand like he's still a first round prospect, but like I've seen people having him to the Cowboys at 12, which makes me want to just like jump off the second story of my house.
I mean, that'll probably hurt. But yeah, like Cameron Jordan was actually like productive at Cal, and
Yes.
he also went to like a winning organization, the Saints at the time.
Mhm.
If all goes to somebody like that, that'll probably work out. But like, I mean, Auburn was worse than Cal when he played there, so like
Yeah.
I feel like he's so place dependent.
He definitely is. And honestly, like they're different types of players, but it's not dissimilar from like Shamar Stewart last year. Like going to a truly dog ass defense in the Bengals and not being able to like do anything when he was just a big bag of traits.
No, no. I'm gonna pair these next two together because they're right on top of each other. These two scare me. Monroe Freeling to Broderick Jones and Francis Maligoa to Darnell Wright.
Yeah,
Don't I don't yeah.
I so Broderick Jones has not been good at the NFL level. I understand again where the comp is coming from, but to your point when we were talking through the mock, Freeling going to the Browns kind of puts them in a different position than Broderick Jones was put into going to
Right.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was trying to win and they needed an immediate tackle help. Broderick Jones was never that type of prospect. Broderick Jones was good God, this is a physically imposing human being who could develop into something special, the same way that Monroe Freeling is. But he went into a spot where they're like, we don't really have time to develop you as an NFL offensive lineman. We need you to be an NFL offensive tackle right now.
Andrew Thomas got a lot of Georgia guys drafted.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
But you're absolutely right there. Where they're projected to go, where Monroe Freeling, I think with the Browns, he could grow into this. Be careful what you wish for there. But if you're into the traits, give it some time.
Hmm.
And then obviously with Maui going to Darnell Wright, who has come on of late with the Browns, but like this is one where it's like people were not happy with Wright initially, and I
No.
don't know if Maui Goa, particularly being only a third-year player at Miami, if he's really ready for that. Like, not to say that the Cardinals are gonna like just devour him, but like if you go to the Giants, I mean, it's gonna end up like that poor offensive lineman out of Alabama that nobody remembers anymore that was good.
There's honestly, unfortunately, there's actually been a lot of those that fit that description. But I think my fit, like, I would push back on this one for sure, just because I think the difference between Maui Goen, which we're looking at Darnell Wright, is Darnell Wright's coming out of Josh Heupel's system. Josh, he's not coming
Hmm.
from a pro style system. And like, yeah, there are spread elements in Miami's offense, no doubt. But you're also talking about he's blocked for three very, very different types of quarterbacks over the past 3 years. Cam Ward is not the same as Carson Beck. Like, we're talking about different types of offenses that he succeeded in. Dude, like, yes, he's only a third year starter, or like he's only been at Miami 3 years, but he's also started 42 games for the Hurricanes. Like, this is a dude who has garnered experience and done so and had success in various different offensive schemes and various different like levels of competition, quite frankly.
Well, Wright was a top 10 or 12 pick.
Hmm.
Maui Goa is going to be the same thing. So the pressure is going to be very high there.
Absolutely, 100%.
Who else you want to touch on? Anybody else on here?
There was one. Hold on. Oh, I hate the Zachariah Branch Zay Flowers comp. I don't see
Not
that at
a
all. I don't like. I
no.
don't think those two players are similar at all. Zay Flowers at Boston College was a downfield threat. Zachariah Branch is going to be like a gadget type player, and like I don't even say that derogatorily, but like you look at his target share in Georgia, and like half of it was behind the line of scrimmage, just getting him in open space and like letting him move. And like, yes, the Ravens try to do that with Zay Flowers, but that's not who Zay Flowers was as a prospect. And I still actually don't think that's who Zay Flowers is or should be at the NFL level.
You're better off comparing Zachariah Branch to his late great uncle Cliff Branch than
Yeah.
than Zay Flowers. I mean, I don't want to be like, don't want to put a cap on what Zachariah Branch can do. That's Tavon Austin, man. We all know that.
Tavon Austin, and like if you want like a higher if you want to talk like higher level like current comp, like Jalen Waddle is who I would be looking at for like
Yeah.
Zachariah Branch. Like you look at how Jalen Waddle was used in Mike McDaniel's offense, I think Zachariah Branch could absolutely do that.
Mhm. Yeah, Jalen Waddle, Julian Edelman, like
Hmm.
there's good stuff there that can definitely work there. I love I don't know, I got Jermod McCoy to Stephon Gilmore. I love that. That's just basically like freelancer mercenary in the defensive
A
backfield.
hundred, 100%. You might win a defensive player of the year, but you're probably gonna move around a bit, man.
And then I guess the other two we touched on, Ruben Bain Jr. to Brandon Graham, and then Fernando Mendoza to Matt Ryan.
Correct me. Let me look at this real quick because they don't mention the size. Isn't Brandon Graham like much bigger than Ruben Bay Jr.? 265 pounds for Graham. What's Bain listed at? 270. Maybe I'm sorry. Bain is a well built human being.
I was
Um,
born for this.
dude, he really was. So honestly, in terms of play style, I don't hate that. Like I think that they're just both like relentless guys who might have some physical limitations, and it's not going to hurt them at the NFL level.
I always felt with Brandon Graham, even if he's not getting sacks, he's making positive winning plays for his team. And
Yes.
even if, Bain can't get around the bend that he needs to, he'll open doors for people. He's just got to get close to the door.
That's right. 100%.
And then Fernando Mendoza has had so many comps. He's been compared to Tom Brady. He's been compared to Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins. He's been compared to Peyton Manning.
CJ
There's a lot of
Stroud,
stuff.
I've seen a lot as
CJ.
well,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Look, there's a lot of like if you're Kirk Cousins, you take him with the first pick, man. Are you kidding me? Like, is he?
100%.
Yeah, he's gonna be. It's gonna be their his mentor in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, like my comp all along has been Kirk Cousins with a little bit more athleticism because Kirk Cousins not an athlete, but like, and I'm not saying Fernando Mendoza is going to be like burning up like the track or anything like that, but like he is more athletic than Kirk Cousins. He has some ability. I got to touch on one of these that I forgot about, and it's probably the one I should have started with. Arvell Reese to Micah Parsons makes me want to
Yes.
lose my mind.
Yeah.
The only reason that comp is there is because it's a linebacker converting to edge rusher. I don't know if that's going to work for Arvell Reese. We were pretty confident it was going to work when it came to Micah Parsons, but you watch a lot of Arvell Reese's stuff when it comes to him being like a pure edge rusher as opposed to a hybrid player. Man, he doesn't have the same level of bend that you want to see from an edge rusher, and specifically that Micah Parsons has.
That's an impossible standard for Reese. He's trying to do something that not a lot of people can do. He's
Mhm.
going to a team that doesn't know what it's doing, playing for a head coach who falls asleep.
Yes.
I wish him nothing but the best, but I'd rather him go to the Titans. Honestly, if you're to the Titans, just trade up to get him. You'll do better with Robert Saleh, man.
Oh, 100%. And like to be clear, I'm not trying to crap on Arvell Reese. I think Arvell Reese is going to be has the chance to be a really good NFL player, but like comparing him to Michael Parsons is just ludicrous to me.
All right, a lot of the show's gonna be about Fernando Mendoza, so let's keep it
Let's do it.
going.
Let's do it. Let's get to our boy.
Um, the Matt Ryan comp is like, look, Matt Ryan was always lesser version of Peyton Manning.
Hmm.
That's basically the same sort of thing. Cerebral, field general, incredibly accurate, arm strength's not terribly there. Uh, very durable, win you a lot of games. That's why Peyton's in the Hall of Fame. That's why Matt Ryan should be at some point.
Yeah.
Probably won't because they hate me, and that's how it goes. But like this is a favorable one that I would say. But again, he's more athletic than Matt Ryan. I do think how do I say this? I do think Matt Ryan throws a more catchable football than Fernando Mendoza does. I
Yeah.
think there's a little bit more of a baseball background with Matt
Yeah.
Ryan, but Mendoza played a little bit. Like who knows? But like there's a lot of traits there that I think could work. Look, if you Matt Ryan went third, no way. Like he should have gone one, and the
Yeah.
Dolphins would have been in a much different situation if that happened.
The Dolphins wouldn't be the Dolphins if they would have took Matt Ryan number one, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like the Dolphins are gonna Dolphins.
yeah, we would have had God, Matthew Stafford in Atlanta.
Oh no.
If that would have happened, Freddie Freeman wouldn't have left. That's how it all ties
That's right.
in.
That's right.
Who the hell would be our GM head coach now? God damn it.
Who could say, honestly?
And Matt Ryan, if you're listening to this episode right now, which you're not, you just tell me this phrase. You're doing great, sweetie.
That's right.
Find someone who loves you as much as Dan Orlovsky loves him some Ty Simpson. My God.
I talked about this when he first made the comments when I was solo like a cup. And like, I understand. Okay, let me start here. Ty Simpson, not my cup of tea. Just
No.
he's just not my cup of tea in terms of specifically as like a first round quarterback prospect. He's just not there for me. And but like at the same time, I can recognize why someone would be very into Ty Simpson. Traits wise, he has a better arm than Fernando Mendoza. He has like a potentially higher ceiling than Fernando Mendoza. But when you're talking about like going back to Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins, one of the things that both of those guys gave you throughout their NFL career is an extremely high floor. And Ty Simpson's floor is he's out of the league and doesn't see a second contract. I think Fernando Mendoza, his floor is he's a backup for 12 years in the NFL. Like, and if I'm picking at number one, if I'm talking about comparing these two, I'm taking the guy that I know isn't going to be a draft bust, especially because I don't think their ceilings are like drastically different.
With Ty Simpson, you're hoping he's Justin Herbert.
Mhm.
He's probably going to be Blake Bortles, but you're hoping he's Sam Darnold, which I'm still not the biggest fan of Sam Darnold. He's just too reckless for my taste. He
No,
won a
and I mean,
Super Bowl. That's okay.
he did win a Super Bowl, but I mean, like, you're not wrong. He still, like, what did he have? Like 12 or 14 interceptions last year? Like, he had double digit interceptions last year. Like, he's still reckless with the football. He just has the best defense in the NFL behind him to, like, help make up, like, mitigate that a little bit.
Yeah, and then Nussmeyer's are the same sort of prototype too. I think there's a few separating. I think Simpson gets the ball out much quicker than Nuss holds onto it a long time.
Yeah, no, I mean, he absolutely does. But I mean, counterpoint to that, the LSU wide receiver core, how many of those guys are about to get drafted?
Not a soul.
Yeah, and then you're talking about Cousin Ryan and Jeremy Bernard for Alabama. Like it's a little bit
Yeah.
different situation there.
And then Drew Aller sleeps in through his alarm, misses his train, misses his flight, and then still throws a pick.
That's right. He's still giving the ball to the other team, no doubt.
Um, the whole thing that Orlovsky is just blowing my mind here. He's like, Fernando has taken 5 snaps under center. And he's like, Clint Kubiak won't change. Well, you know what the Raiders will do? They'll fire Clint Kubiak, which I don't think he's going to be a good head coach. I'm going to say that right here. I think he's going to be, I think he was probably one of the 3 worst hires in the cycle.
Interesting. So like I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because I do think he's a really good offensive coordinator. Like I don't
Hmm.
really have any doubts about that. Like what he did in Seattle, hell, what he did in New Orleans before that, before Derek Carr decided he didn't want to do this anymore. And I think that we've seen enough from Clint Kubiak to believe in him as an offensive mind. That doesn't guarantee he's going to be a good head coach, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. But you're right. Like the Raiders just like fired Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll after one season. Do you think they're going to have a problem firing Clint Kubiak if it doesn't work out with the guy they just invested the first overall pick with? No.
No, I mean, Pete Carroll was 74, but he was also personable. I don't think Clint Kubiak is. I think he might just kind of be, he might be an Adam Gase, Josh McDaniels type. I'm very afraid of that for them in terms
It's
of
the
like, I don't know. Apparently, he didn't interview well with a lot of people. The
Mhm.
best hire in this cycle was Jesse Minter of the Ravens. I think
Yeah.
that goes without saying. And then there's other ones out there. I'll remove Kevin Stefanski from the Falcons from the equation there to not bias, but like I
I think
think
that's a good hire. I'll throw my hat in the ring on that one. I love Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski was not the problem in Cleveland. I can guarantee you that.
believe it or not, I think Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan going to the Dolphins works because there's symmetry there.
Yes, I like the tandem. I like Jeff Hafley doesn't really like move me, but doing it with like I think like the tandem of that makes a lot of sense.
And I think Robert Saleh going to the Titans is a good one as well. I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to work in Pittsburgh at all.
Not even a little bit, brother. I can't tell you how low I am on that one.
I have no feel for Mike LaFleur in Arizona. I wish him the best.
That's I ain't reading all that. I hope it works out for you though.
He's like, we got you a nice water well here. Oh wait, never mind. That data center just sucked it all up. You got nothing there, brother.
Oh, we hired an offensive minded head coach. Hey, let's trade Kyler Murray. Like let's just
Let's
get rid of him.
let's do that. But Kubiak's gonna have to change. You know what happens in the NFL if you don't adapt? You become like a dick, like Chip Kelly. Everyone wants to get rid of you. It's like, come on, the you're dealing with the best of the best players out there.
Yeah.
Everybody's running a great scheme. Like the separating factor between winning and losing is like 3 plays in a game. And
Mhm.
that determines what private school some girl goes to versus like where where her daddy's working at next. You have to adapt. You can't be shamelessly tied to your scheme. You become Buddy Ryan with the Cardinals, man.
No, I mean, it's one of the things that has made Sean McVay one of the best head coaches in the NFL. Like, did Sean McVay have a scheme when he was hired by the Rams? Yeah. You know what he's done with that scheme in the near decade since he's been the head coach? He's adapted and adapted
Hmm.
and adapted time and time and time again. Like, the talk at the beginning of this NFL season was them using their 3 tight end sets the way that they were, over, like, in like how that was catching defenses off guard. Brother, they didn't have a tight end on the field when he first got hired by the Rams.
No, man, they love and personnel people to death when Todd Gurley was in their backfield.
Yeah, and so like you have like to your point, you have it's adapt or die, like the dinosaurs and Ryan Day. Like it's adapt or die.
Like Mendoza's got enough traits out there to be a star. Above the shoulders, he's just a cut above it. Like Todd
Mhm.
McShay was talking to Joe Clyde's like, I think dude's different. Dude's a different type of dude. I'll touch on him here with a penultimate topic with some under further review here.
No, absolutely. And like truly like he's coming into a position in Vegas, like regardless of what you think of Kubiak, Vegas has like if you're talking about the mental side of this, he's going into a room that's going to have Kirk Cousins in it. He's going into an ownership group that's going to have Tom Brady in it. And like, do I want the guy who needs to learn all of that and Ty Simpson, or do I want the guy who is like already on like the second step of a 5 step process and being there, not the guy who needs to be let in the door in Ty Simpson?
And John Spytek will do whatever Tom Brady says, pretty much.
Yeah,
And you're also going to an offense that has what Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, and Colton Miller. I think that kind of works.
it's not a bad thing. That's for damn sure.
Uh, I want to pull for the Raiders. I want to see them do good because that's my AFC West team. If they're good, I'm all about that.
Oh, the NFL is more fun when the Raiders are good. There's no question about that.
And also, Fernando Mendoza is one of the boys. He's one of the guys. The last time I had a guy who was like that was Ken Stabler, man.
We love that. We love a Kenny Stabler comp.
I wonder what Fernando's pool game is. I don't care. I'm gonna ask you a question, man. Do Haas, do Haas.
Ooh, ooh. Do Hast, whatever Fernando likes to play in the pool.
Is Fernando Mendoza making the right call not attending the 2026 draft in Pittsburgh? He's going to be the number one pick by the Raiders. He's opting to stay home with his family in Miami.
I'm going Duhast 1S. I think he is making the right call because what bit like to me, if you're Fernando Mendoza specifically, what do you have to gain by going to the NFL draft? And to
Nothing.
me, the answer is nothing. Like, I don't think there's anything to gain. Whereas if we're talking about what do you like, what could you potentially gain from staying home with your family? If we're talking about image cultivation and like who we think Fernando Mendoza is, wouldn't the guy who updates his LinkedIn after the national championship game look better sitting with his family in his Miami home than he would in Pittsburgh at the NFL draft? Because I sure think so.
I think he's just not ready to put fries in the sandwich, man. He's like, why do I want to subject myself to this crap? Duhast, when that's the only way that I would see him going is if you knew Omar Cooper Jr. was for sure a first round lock. And at that point, you could celebrate with him, which I think he would do, but I think there's too much in play at this point right now for Omar to get that first round pick.
Yeah, and like I have a Mark Cooper Jr. as a first round pick, but like even then, like I still don't know if it's like totally what you're like. I don't know. I still don't know if it behooves Fernando Mendoza. I think the only way I would support it is if he thought Omar Cooper Jr. was going to the Raiders and like the Raiders were trading back into the first round because that'd be a hell of a moment there. That's going to Vegas with the boys right there.
If the draft was in Vegas, he'd go, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, in front of like 100,000 Raiders fans, yes, he absolutely would.
And you've been to the draft. You've actually probably been to the one in
I went
Vegas,
to the
right?
one in Vegas. Yeah. It was day three. I only got to go to day three, which is a different experience. That's for damn sure.
I'm sure that's like going to day three of a festival.
Honestly, it might be worse. Everyone's just like, no, half the people there don't know who the people getting drafted are, and they're just hammered. So it's a time.
Dude, they're NFL people. They don't know anything, man.
It was just the next name on a list that they found.
Yeah, they're not prepared for this. Do you like that they rotate the NFL draft amongst like cities that aren't going to get like Super Bowls?
Yes and no. Like I really it's really hard from like I do think it is a cool thing like that they're trying to do to serve NFL fan bases. And like yeah, you're not going to play a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh. You're not going to play a
No.
Super Bowl in Green Bay, Cleveland, all these places where they've had the NFL draft. Vegas is the one where I'm like, well, they certainly will host the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like I think as long as you're like going to underserved fans to have league wide events, I think like I'm behind that. But at the same time, like I look at it and like the combine has become a big thing, even though it probably shouldn't, because I think largely because it stays in Indianapolis, because it
Yeah.
has this central location. And like it says a lot that the combine is as well attended and well viewed as it is. It's in Indianapolis in the last week of February. Do you know where I don't want to be? Indianapolis in the last week of February.
You want to go there the first weekend of April,
That's
brother.
right. That's right. 100%.
Yeah, I think it's you also wonder like a lot of these seems like they're never going to get like Kansas City's never going to get one, and maybe they've done it, maybe it'll work. Like Baltimore's never going to get one. Maybe they would make it work, but like, look, we're fans of teams that are in the Super Bowl rotation, and we know like maybe you got a draft, like we're not going to get one. Like
No.
you can put a draft in Centennial Olympic Park. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I truly believe the only reason they'd give Dallas a draft is because Jerry Jones wanted it. But like in terms of like sensibility, it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, like they're not going to put a draft in New Orleans. They're not going to put one in Tampa. They're not going to put one in LA. They're not going to put one in like Phoenix. Like
No,
those
and
are all Miami. They're all Super Bowl cities.
yeah, it's just like I appreciate it from a fan service standpoint. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I understand what they're trying to do, and like Green Bay is not getting anything but Packers games. So like I respect them going to Green Bay, even though it sounded like a logistical nightmare because there's nothing to do in Green Bay but go to Packers games.
I mean, they put a Super Bowl in Jacksonville, and that was a nightmare too. But I mean, Jacksonville can handle a draft. They can handle the cocktail party, but they got to wait a little bit before that stadium gets renovated.
You got to tell Jacksonville like 8 years in advance though before you do it, or else it's not going to work. Because like they're it takes them a while to plan it out in Jacksonville.
Yeah, but then I put Sean Connery, brothers. Don't pay attention to what's behind me, brother.
I mean, honestly, like it's very fitting that Blake Bortles played for the Jags because the Jaguars are the Blake Bortles of franchises
What if
and
Sean Connery was
cities.
ha Yeah, I wonder how much Shad Khan pays up Brad Underwood.
Probably more than God. Probably more than God.
Do you think what position coach would Brad Underwood coach in the NFL for the Jags?
Linebackers coach for sure. 100%. My favorite thing, but this isn't part of, we're going to talk about my trip to the Final Four in Indy and stuff like that. This was not going to be part of that. I'm sitting there watching Danny Hurley in the semifinal Final Four game, and he's obviously being Dan Hurley, just roaming the sidelines, like looking like he's having a mental breakdown every 10 seconds. And then I look over, Brad Underwood's just sitting on a stool on the sidelines, and I was like, what a guy, man.
Dan Hurley might be the only person more neurotic than me in existence.
He's unbelievable, man. Like I truly don't know how he hasn't like truly had like a mental breakdown on the sidelines.
And I haven't either. But it's maybe he and I would become best friends or enemies. I don't know. Let's go under further review. Uh, we're watching some shows or whatever it is. We want to speed this up because we got to go here. We
No,
got
we're good.
stuff to do.
Got some stuff to do.
All right, what are you watching the NC State podcast watching? What are y'all doing?
So we've been kind of separate. Like I've barely been home over the past 2 weeks, so like we haven't had a lot of time to watch shows together. She has been watching, getting into amidst all the drama and stuff like that. She had to see what it was about. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Um,
Oh
I
hell
can
yeah.
I can go ahead and tell you, not for me, not my jam, not my cup of tea. Uh, she likes it, happy for her. I'm real big back into the Survivor train, man. Survivor 50 is on, and damn, it's been a fun season so far. We're 6 episodes in, new episode on Wednesday night. Just had the merge, so that's always dope. Biggest merge in Survivor history. Three eliminations right after the merge. First time they've ever eliminated three people on one night after the merge. So like they're throwing all this different stuff in there, and it's a good cast of characters. I'm very much enjoying Survivor 50. The NC State podcast does not care for Survivor, so that's tough on me.
So if you like Survivor, again, you'll like the Traders.
I
Some
know,
dude
I
working
know.
at the Claremont Roof says like, I don't watch Traders, I watch Survivors. Like I need to go let my fiance in or whatever. It was my girlfriend. I was like, I don't know. I was just like Rosemary's like, I'm embarrassed for that woman to be with this guy.
Can I get her number so I can give her some life advice?
Trust me, she's not John Buhler. He's not John Buhler. He's way worse. You need to do that. If Nat's into like the sister Mormon wives, like you're one step away from Real Housewives of Salt Lake.
Brother, I've watched some Real Housewives in my life, and let me tell you, I just can't do it. But I fear that it will be on in the household sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Salt Lake's a good entry point. It's much it's the one that I can do. New York is too sad, and Atlanta is too fired up. Like,
Atlanta is what Atlanta is, man.
yeah. So we finished up Fargo the other day,
Hell yeah.
all 5 seasons. We're also watching up some Below Deck, and we watched some Veep last night.
Ooh, nice. I've never seen
Uh,
an episode of Below Deck, but every like promo I see for it, it looks like absolutely batshit insane.
there's a guy on one of these seasons whose answer to everything is to take his shirt off. I mean, he's not that far away from Robert Murray, to be straight with you, man. He just
Oh,
like
shout out Bert, man.
this dude is like leaves like a bunch of people stranded on an island somewhere in the Caribbean, and he's got to go back. And it's just like you're not the whatever this is. He's just like,
That's like
oh,
when we had the fan-sided meetup in Orlando, and Bert and Mark Carmen were singing Barbie Girl, and then Bert lost the track of the words, so he just like froze and then took his shirt off.
that's what I'm implying. Bert didn't know he didn't know what Barbie Girl was.
Hey, first time hearing it.
No, the Archangels fan said it. Anyway, um, so Fargo, this is where we get. So you've seen the first 2 seasons. I
Yeah,
saw all the first three and all but 2 episodes of four and then of five. So I got it. So every season of Fargo, there's like a really unfortunate death. Am I
of
breaking up a
course.
little bit?
You like broke up like a tad, like 1 second, but you're good.
Okay.
Every season
Yeah,
in Fargo, there's an unfortunate death. We heard it loud and clear. We're good.
cool. Fourth one's pretty messed up. Fifth one, not so much, but there's two things with the fifth one I got to share. So John Hamm is the antagonist,
Oh, okay.
and he plays a constitutional sheriff out in North Dakota by the name of Roy Tillman, and he is just a real McAsshole.
Love
Um,
that.
his son from his first marriage is played by Joe Keery.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get in on this because this sounds like my cup of tea.
And every man in this family's first name is Roy, except for Joe Keery's son. He goes by Gator.
No, he doesn't. Are you? No, he
Yes.
doesn't. Yes, yes.
I can either confirm or deny if his real name was Remington, but because Remington's too hard to spell and Remy's too sissy, so he goes by Gator. But he really does go by Gator, and he's just the ultimate can't get right kid.
I mean, his name's Gator, so I don't really know what you expect.
So obviously, with his dad being John Hamm, who may or may not be a good person, I don't think he is. That's okay. The he's also like he's very alt right,
Okay, okay.
and when the season's starting to get hot there, the he calls upon his father-in-law's militia to come in, and Noah Hawley decided to play the absolute best song for it,
What did he go with?
YMCA by the Village People.
Oh my God,
And
brother.
just like let's make this like the most homoerotic gay thing I can find, pretty much. But you know who actually probably really likes that song? There's two people that we talk about the show a lot who probably really like that song for what it is at a very core like value when we're all going to like sock hops when we're like 8 years old or something.
Who we got? Who we got?
Fernando Mendoza and Gus Malzahn.
Oh, Gus for sure loves that
Let's break it
song.
down, boys.
Boom, boom.
I
That's
played
what
that
they're going to
all.
be playing in the CFP selection committee room.
Dude. And then Fernando Mendoza, here's the lyrics. You can get yourself clean, you can have a good meal, you can do whatever you feel, you can hang out with all the boys. It's like playing with the boys.
Oh,
Yes.
we're hanging out with the boys. Let's go.
He's also a big fan of that Kenny Loggins song too.
The one.
Playing with the boys. And then I don't know. You watching anything else? Like I could talk about Veep here for a
No,
second.
hit me with Veep. I've only had time to catch up on Survivor because I literally watched Survivor all 6 episodes this week while I was in Indianapolis because I had Paramount Plus and I didn't have much else. So
So we needed some filler in between Fargo, and then we're gonna watch Succession on the plane to Germany. We need something that was just mindless. So we watch Veep, and we're at that point where like I don't know, Selena Meyer's like the interim president now with like
okay.
the short woman business haircut, and I think Tony Hill is going through like a midlife crisis in this show. I don't remember anybody's name. Uh,
Yeah,
this
that's a good way to describe it for sure.
the guy Dan definitely is a big Chat GPT guy now.
The Chat GPT or Claude? I feel like he might be a Claude guy.
I don't know. I think he's an asshole, so probably both. But and then also like the lady who looks like Mia Savard from American Pie. I'm like, she's having a hard time right there with Lawrence hanging drywall coming in there to take her job. Then
Yes.
Lumberg's in there too, man. I don't know what's going on.
The whole crew's here.
The whole crew's here on that. Let's get out of here with some LSR.
Yes,
You went to
sir.
Indy and I survived 404 day in Atlanta. You go because you actually did something worthwhile, and I'm proud of you.
So the first story has nothing to do with me doing anything. It's just one of those moments where you're like, huh, this is super weird. Flying out on Tuesday, I'm walking through the airport, and it's obviously a lot of college basketball fans all trying to make their morning flights and whatnot. And I'm going through, and then all of a sudden behind me in like the TSA line, I see like a large shadow like coming, and I'm like, well, what's that? And I like turn around and I just see a man's torso like at my eye level, and I'm like, who is this? And I look up, is Roy Hibbert. And let me tell you, if you've never stood next to someone who's like 7'1", 7'2" in real life, you never felt as small as you do in that moment because my God, what a massive human being. Like it was just like shocking. And like I will say this, one of the things that always cracks me up whenever there's like someone who's like, at least to me, like it's super obvious who they are, like a Roy Hibbert. Like there's not many people that are 7'1" and look like Roy Hibbert. Like just put two and two together. Everyone like around me starts going, "Who is that? He must play basketball. Who is that? He must play basketball." I'm like, first off, we're in Indianapolis. Who the hell do you think this might be? Secondly, it's very clearly like that just drives me crazy when people like can't recognize a soul.
Dude, you're talking about what Georgetown and Pacers and Parks of Rec legend Roy effing Hibbert, man.
I'd like, how do you not recognize Roy Hibbert? And then to round that out, I'm getting on the plane. I had a connection in Atlanta. And of course, flying back to Atlanta from Indianapolis as I walk through first class, just Ernie Johnson just chilling in first class. Of course he is.
Of course he is, man. I love that. I think I was told you about the time I was on a flight from Chicago to Atlanta. I think it was like in and around Final Four. Porter Moser was on my flight.
Hell yeah.
And he was sitting between two people and coach because Loyola did not have that kind of money.
Was Sister Jean on the flight as well?
Uh,
RIP.
just
We respect Sister Jean.
pouring out, yeah. Um, bless her soul, bless ATL Ho.
That's right. Always, always.
So Saturday was April 4th, 404 day. That's the area code for all the businesses in Atlanta. I have a 770 area code. You can put the rest of my cell phone number if you want to. Just like McClintock 0001
Zero, zero.
0002.
You're gonna call in like 3 weeks when someone finally figures it out.
Yes, you will. So obviously we don't have a car right now, and
Mhm.
one of the things that I do that's nice is like when it's dark outside, I walk down to where my fiance works, and we walk back or scooter back. Cause like,
Because
man, it's a scary
you're a good
place.
man. John
Yeah, I
Buhler,
don't.
good man, confirmed.
Yeah, yeah. I don't grow on trees. I just grow hair, man. But anyway, uh, I go down there to be a good person, and also get some steps in because I work inside all day. Anyway, we I mo 404 day just talk about Atlanta being as selfish as it possibly could.
I mean, it's no, I've never seen a city. Well, I take that back. There are definitely cities that are more so, but it's one of the most self-indulgent cities I've ever been a part of.
We got people going through in scooters, just not doing stop signs. We got a guy almost hit me with his
I
car
was about
at
to say
a
traffic
crosswalk.
laws in general just don't exist.
The belt line, people are just taking scooters up and down. People are smoking blunts. There's kids in strollers and stuff next to me,
Also
and
smoking blunts. Just kidding. Just kidding.
smoke. It doesn't matter. They probably were. Obviously, Atlanta United and the Braves both lost in a 4-4 day, which I think fits the bill.
Correct. Yes.
And I'm just like, it took probably an extra 5 minutes to get to where I needed to go, and I'm just like, this is. I go up to there's a state podcast like, we're gonna walk home. We're gonna walk a different direction. We're gonna avoid the belt line because that's just not happening today.
No, 100% it's not.
All right, what's your second story? What's the other one you got from Indy?
So I got a chance to do, and you'll see some of this content going up on FanSided socials. Some of it already has, but I got more coming. I had a chance to interview a couple people, one of which was Isaiah Thomas. Now you might be asking yourself, which Isaiah Thomas? That's a great question and relevant to this story. Uh, on the sheet that I got with the interviews that I was getting listed, it said Isaiah Thomas, ISAIAH. So I'm thinking, okay, Isaiah Thomas played for the Celtics, Washington, all that stuff. The one who's about my height. That's what I'm thinking I'm interviewing. So I do all my prep for it and I'm ready to go. I walk in. It is not that Isaiah Thomas. It is Isaiah Thomas, Pistons legend. And so, having to do an interview where you're literally formulating questions off the top of your head, one of the most difficult things I've ever done. I was having a hard time with it. Still think it turned out quite well, though. But I will say, Isaiah Thomas was super, super nice. Might be a little bit of a germaphobe.
Something.
He walked in from shaking some people's hands, put on hand sanitizer, shook my hand. We did the interview, and then he immediately put on more hand sanitizer.
How many ruptured his Achilles, man? I mean, I figured that's a little bit of a different sort of thing there. It's like the time I had to do an interview with Brian Bosworth, and like I didn't realize that he only knew Oklahoma football, and Oklahoma got eliminated from the playoff uh by Sonny Michelle.
Oh, dude, shouts out Sony Michelle. What a guy.
What a guy, what a legend, and everything like that. That's pretty cool. You talked to some people there. I thought like I like that Isaiah Thomas more than the one who's your height.
Yeah, oh, 100%. And like, that's why I was like a little like, not frustrated. Frustrated is probably not the right word, but I was like caught off guard because I was like, oh, this is a much bigger interview than I realized, and I am wholly unprepared for this.
You know. Miss Jill, if you're listening to the podcast, he interviewed the other Isaiah Thomas, not the little booger and not the lunk Kelly Olynyk.
Correct. Correct.
Yes. And I'll finish up with this. I can't believe I'm talking about this on a show, but I'm just gonna do it.
Do it, baby.
Uh, Last week, we're getting ready for bed, and the Arizona State podcast hears like some sort of car crash in our parking lot, and it sounded like somebody like messed something up. I think one of the girls who lives in the other apartment over there was like trying to like get into her place, may have been inebriated,
Mhm.
certainly kind of acting feral, trying to get into her place. And I'm like, should I go out there and help her? I'm like, nah, she might stab me.
Correct. Yes.
So eventually she did make her way in there. And then the other day I was taking trash, and I think the same sort of thing happened. And I'm like, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see anything because God forbid, like my from our kitchen's like right behind this wall, and you can like see like the dumpster. I don't want it to look like something out of Fargo, man.
No, God forbid you got to miss work to go to the witness stand because something happened. You know what I mean? No,
No.
you gotta be careful with the feral people in Atlanta.
Hey, you got to be careful when you're doing this show because this was episode 266 of False Start. You can follow me, John Buhler, on Twitter at X at Buhler118. You can follow Cody Williams at The Sizzle 20. You can follow the show at CFB False Start. Like, rate, listen, subscribe, review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere there's podcasts. Give us a 5-star review, one for each snap that Fernando Mendoza took under center at Cal or Indiana. And at least five people are going to go between him and Ty Simpson because I can guarantee you that, Dan Orlovsky.
I can as well, Dan. It's also just very, very funny that this is Dan Orlovsky we're talking about. Like he's most famous in the moment in the NFL was one of the worst blunders we've ever seen in the NFL. He also lost a bet in the Final Four to
Yes,
Taylor Lewan and now has to wear a dangly earring, I believe is the bet.
And Adam Schefter, also Michigan alum, let everybody know that his UConn Huskies went down.
Yes, 100%. They Schefter was in the crowd. They cut to him. Did you see the art? Do you know how old Adam Schefter is? Because this kind of blew my mind. I don't think I ever like processed how old he is.
He's probably pushing 60, yeah.
He is 60, which I like. I just didn't see that coming.
I know that like he married late.
Yeah,
And I think it was like he married a 9/11 widow. And I know that that was kind of, I knew that he was certainly getting up there, but like, yeah, he looks great for his
he
age.
looks great, man. And like, some people who are 60 and like look that good, like you can tell they've had like a lot of work. Whoever does his work is doing good work. That's all I got to say.
And I mean, like, I know like Ian Rappaport and the is about to be there. He's probably like a good decade or so younger than him.
So that's actually I think it was either Front Office Sports or Awful Announcing, one of the two, but it was talking about like them wanting to re-sign Rap Sheet just because like because Schefter's 60 and may look to retire soon, which I mean, you can say what you will about Adam Schefter. Like there's a lot of people, myself included, who have some issues with the way that he handles his business, but he works hard and he does a lot of work on top of that. So like doing that at 60, like that's gonna wear on you. It would wear on me at 34.
36, just, brushing my teeth wears on me, man.
True, 100%.
Stay back. Let the good times roll. Enjoy the flight. See you next time because this is False Start.